That's fine. Okay, good morning. We're going to get started here. It's 9 o'clock, and we're going to try to keep it to 30 minutes and let all of you get back to whatever it is that you're doing in preparation of Sandy coming through. There are some new faces here today. Just really quickly, I know people don't enjoy doing this, but let's just go around the room really quickly and just say who you are and who you represent. And then I'm going to speak. Stuart's got a few things to say, and then we'll do what we have been doing. We'll work our way around the room and let people have their input that they would like to add.
Lloyd Dean, Bennington Police.
Larry McLeod, Town of Bennington.
Cheryl Ruby, American Red Cross.
Brian Ferber, Town of Woodford.
Norman Blank, Village of North Bennington Highway.
Nelson.
Sorry.
Jack Vickers, Bennington Fire Department.
Deb Black, Southwest Medical Center.
Nelson Blanchard, V-Trans.
Steve Crocker, Bennington Fire. Keith Cross, North Bennington Fire.
Your turn, sir.
Bill Leach, V-Train.
Steve Russo, Bennington Rural Fire.
Joe Hayes, Bennington Rural Fire Chief.
RJ Jolly, Town of Bennington Highway Department.
Sharon Brush, Bennington Select Board.
Jerry Crew, School District.
School district. Nice.
Spencer Sweet, WBTN.
Mike Harrison, Town of Bennington.
Terry Morris, Town of Bennington, Water Lake Plan.
Jack Schmidt, Sheriff's Office.
And I'm Stu Hurd, Town Manager.
And in the back, Terry.
Town Shasbury Highway.
David, Town of Shasbury.
Okay, I think we have everybody. Again, thank you for coming, and I will emphasize to you more than once today that, as I've been telling all of you, safety is paramount. We need to remain safe throughout this whole thing and keep our people safe, and that includes the people that work with us and all the people here in the town of Bennington, Woodford, Shasbury, North Bennington, Pownell, Hoosick Falls, surrounding communities. Our main goal is to make sure that everyone stays safe. And there are a couple different ways that we can do that, and we'll talk about that. Let's talk about the weather. The latest from Vermont Emergency Management is that the storm obviously is going to hit our area and should be more of a wind event than a rain event at this point. We do have some concerns, however, and I think Terry will be addressing those. Up in the mountains, what we're going to see is probably 6+ inches of rain, and that water is going to have to go someplace, which means it will probably funnel its way down in through Bennington and over into New York. So we need to be prepared for that. The wind is going to be the most dangerous part of this event. We fully anticipate that the wind will start in the area here between 1 and 3 p.m. With that being said, today, I want to just emphasize that Catherine McClure, the superintendent of schools, was very responsible. She met with Steve Crawford, the fire chief, and I yesterday afternoon. We made some decisions. There are some people that are wondering why we had school today. Well, if the kids went to school today, they would get half a day credit or credit for the day for going half the day. And at this point, I think that from what we're seeing outside, it was a good decision on her part. So I just wanted to touch on that. The wind, when the wind strikes the area here, we are looking at wind gusts anywhere from 60 to 85 miles an hour. In conversations and doing some research, you know, I've learned that 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts are enough to actually put a trailer unit on its side, an empty one. So we need to be concerned about that. I learned some stuff from Aaron at the last meeting that ambulances become sails and perhaps could also flip with high wind gusts. So again, we need to make sure that the people in this community are safe, but at the same time, you know, we need to make sure that all of our responders are safe and all of our highway workers and water workers in Bennington and surrounding communities. This event is going to last from now until sometime Wednesday. The exact timeline, no one is sure, but it looks like this event is going to start this afternoon. Hopefully the stronger winds will die down late tomorrow afternoon, so it's going to be almost 24 hours of high winds, and it's going to go into Wednesday with rain, and then the rain will continue in the area through Thursday and Friday. Again, that's the latest from Vermont Emergency Management. As we all know, Governor Shumlin has declared Vermont a state of emergency. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, we can get assistance from the Vermont Army National Guard, and I can assure you from this weekend, I actually did observe myself, the Vermont Army National Guard locally here with some of their equipment, practicing and training and getting ready in case they are put into action. We will need their services if it gets that bad. And then the other piece is that we can get federal assistance. President Obama, if any of you were watching television today, this is not a political campaign, he did indicate that if in fact we need federal assistance, there's not going to be a lot of red tape. We're going to get it. He is very concerned about the whole East Coast. I mean, there's talk of reshaping the coastline and everything else as a result of this storm. Fortunately for us, we're the only New England state that's not bordered by an ocean, and but you know, the impacts are still going to be severe here, and we need to make sure people are prepared. This room here is going to turn into a small emergency operations center. Once this afternoon, after this meeting, Lieutenant Dean and Corporal Lozon are going to convert this room. It'll be set up with mobile data terminals, maps, phones. Some people that call into the Bennington Police Department, if you don't have an emergency, we ask that you wait the storm out. But if you need information and you choose to call here, the dispatchers may put you on hold and you may get transferred into this room where there would be another police officer or another dispatcher that will try to help you as best they can. We are going to tell people, and you should also, 211. Vermont 211 is operational and they will provide you with information. There are voice prompts that you have to follow. People get very frustrated with voice prompts, but you've got to stay on the line and follow the voice prompts if you need assistance, okay? One of the things that I'll let Ms. Remy talk about representing the Red Cross. I will tell you that we do have a tentative shelter agreement. Shelters are an option here. We have not established or set up a shelter at this point in time. We are asking that people shelter in place. We're already getting telephone calls, not just from residents in Bennington, but from surrounding areas. Geez, if I lose my power, where can I go? The temperatures are supposed to be in the 50s and 60s. Really, no one's going to freeze. We ask that you shelter in place. If it gets to the point where we do get more rain and there is flooding, you know, we do have options to open up shelters. If we have areas that are damaged with wind and roofs come off or whatever the situation may be, we do have options to set up shelters. The Bennington Fire Department did move the trailer yesterday to a location that Ms. Remy will discuss. And they are willing to have a shelter there. In conversations with Catherine McClure yesterday, they're also willing to set up a shelter at Mount Anthony Union Middle School, and they obviously have a generator there as well. So there are alternatives, there are things that can be done, and but right now we're just kind of lying in wait and making sure that all the other preparations are made. But I can assure you that we are ready for this. Stu?
I'll just second what Paul has said. I mean, the event has changed dramatically from what we thought it would be. It truly is more focused on a wind event. It's going to change the way perhaps we respond to emergency situations. So I advise you, we're going to try to stay in touch with everybody. We've got a number of different media outlets that we use here. The police Facebook page would be the primary for those who are looking to do it electronically. We'll stay in touch with WBTN and the Banner and the Herald to try to make sure that any kind of declaration or change, closing of roads, closing of bridges, change in the way we handle our water system, and Terry will talk a little bit about that. Those things we'll get out to you as fast as we can, but at the present time, we're really focused on what this does, how this storm progresses. We're not trying to get into a panic mode. And I think truly, given everyone that's here and the responses that we've heard at the other meetings, I think we're truly ready as an area. And we'll just hope for the best.
Chad?
I don't know if you're going to touch base on services here that may need fuel or gasoline in the event that the power goes out. I know that Skip Burdick has called me from Mincer's, and I don't know if there's any other agencies here that are going to need supplemental fuel, but obviously if we have cruisers running about with long duration, we're going to have to set up a situation with them where they can come down, and I guess it's pretty big procedure for Skip to go through, but he can do it. So if we can kind of coordinate that, so if there is any certain times that we can go down as a group.
Emergency services vehicles will be able to get fuel, we normally get fuel, and they have asked that we coordinate that as a group, because it is a mundane task to do what we're gonna do, but yes. So I think what we'll do, Chad, is we'll coordinate and we'll send all of our cruisers up at the same time. I know that the town of Bennington Highway Department anyway, and Water Department did receive shipments of fuel, and tanks are filled, so they'll be able to utilize their diesel tanks, correct, Walt?
Yes.
RJ? Great.
Along the same lines, when you do make that commitment to go up there, would you let us know so we can go up through gas comes?
Yes.
Because as far as gasoline, we have absolutely not. We can cut down cans, but we don't have to store that.
And then my only other question was more for Spencer about what contacts you have with the rest of the county. I mean, I know we're all kind of focused on Bennington, it's the most populated area, but there are other listening areas that are going to be affected, and you have a line of communication with other communities.
Not many yet, but that's being put in place. Yeah. And another thing, we will be there as long as necessary to give updates. We drop down to 75 watts a night, but it still goes quite a way. We'll be there as necessary.
And you've got the generator.
We add it, we're running the same direction.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'll test it. All right. Terry?
We right now are going to plan on manning both our water and wastewater facilities right throughout the night and tomorrow. We're continuing to process water at the water filtration plant in Woodford and hope to do so until later in the day. Then we'll go into what we call an isolation plan. So whatever happens overnight, we are scrambling. So we'll be running off more than spring in our tanks throughout the system. Again, we expect more to be loss of power, although we'll be monitoring our water intake very closely. For those folks who are on like private wells, if we lose power for an extended time, we're going to be making some of our sampling yard hydrants throughout the water system available for potable water. And we'll have a list of those for our folks at the town office. We may actually do a posting or something on Tattoo later today. But we have Whitechapel Cemetery, Fulton Lane near the transfer station, right off East Road at the middle school, the Morgan Spring Garden area on Bradford Street, and the Morgan Street Cemetery, all areas where you can get potable water from a small like a yard hydrant stick. At this point, one of the things that I'll be looking for will be what the state highway department or D-Trans will be doing with their temporary bridge, so that we make sure that we have appropriate adequate equipment over on the Woodford side of our filtration plant if that bridge is going to be closed down. We will be talking a little more with the rural fire department about possibly having equipment at the filtration plant. And then offer also just get something from someone from the rescue squad wants to be stationed on the other side at our water facility. That's about all I have.
We'll get to the bridge here in a minute. Mike?
Nothing at this time.
Nothing? Spencer, you all set?
I'm all set.
All set? RJ?
The only thing I have different than the other day, I did talk to the head of the Green Mountain National Forest in Manchester, and he was a little reluctant to give us permission to run over that forest or woods road with an excavator. I guess he wouldn't have a lot of problem with ATVs if need be, or cutting out the road, but yeah. So the excavator idea is pretty much
Okay.
didn't fly.
But the road itself is passable by ATV, or in the event we need to use that.
According to him, I didn't know firsthand.
Okay.
Can you stage an excavator on the other side just in case? Or not?
Huh?
Can you stage an excavator on the other side at the water department just in
Could,
case
we-
possible?
We could.
There's already equipment there, right, though, I mean, with that private contractor, I mean, if we needed to,
Possibly.
I mean, I don't wanna put it, I mean, you're the boss there with that, but I don't wanna put an excavator on the other side, there's already equipment there. If we need it here, how are we gonna get it back? You know, so that's,
I'll call
Good thought.
Pete.
Joey.
Just want to stay in touch with you guys and Terry. If that bridge does shut down, I do have a crew ready to relocate a truck to the water treatment plant. So I want to try to keep my trucks as much as I can in town, but if there's a case that bridge is going to be shut down, I do have a truck ready to go over.
Okay, and your fire dispatch at Mill Road?
I will be
Operational.
manning that right up, me and some of the ladies auxiliaries. The only problem we're gonna have is if we lose power, is we got a UTV hopefully coming from Martinez, so we can get up the mountain to change our battery out on our repeater. So we can run off the battery, because we got battery backup up there.
Okay, and you don't, and the batteries are operational right now?
Yep, batteries are all set, Wells was up there, we're all set. Batteries are capable of running 8 to 12 hours.
Right, you should have deep cycle marine
Yeah.
batteries, okay.
Yeah, so we might just have to get up there and change it out, but we'll still have our talk around channel
Okay,
in the meantime. And we're gonna be, Paul, just so you guys know here, we're gonna be toning out on our repeater channel, and we'll be working fire grounds on our rural channel too.
okay, that was my other question.
Yeah,
So all calls will get toned, regular channel, and then you'll be using,
yeah, now I'll switch over to channel 2. I'm not going, I told all my guys I'm not gonna run every call. I'm gonna place the trucks where I need them,
okay,
so.
very good. Mr. Russo,
I'm all set, Chief.
all set?
The only thing I guess I'm gonna pass on is that if we start having a lot of trees coming down, of course, our first thing is safety, and our people are not gonna touch anything until we get the all clear from Green Mountain Power.
Okay,
And they're assured me that they're gonna have some crews, that's strictly what they're gonna be doing, is going around responding to the trees we've got down and saying, go for it, there's no power. So, you know, there may be a tree down someplace until we get it clear, it may sit there.
we, Chief Crawford and I met with a member of Green Mountain Power yesterday afternoon, and they are geared up and they're ready to respond, which I assured all of you on Friday. I thought that was the case in speaking with them, so I'm pretty confident that they're ready to respond. Good.
So the question on the bridge, I guess, is what are you looking for? I mean, I don't anticipate the water that it's gonna affect it, but of course you never know. I mean, if it gets up there and it's getting close to the bridge and people, you know, are concerned about it, then I'm sure that we would probably have to close it down. That needs to be coordinated, you know, through myself or Nelson here.
Right.
Before it's just shut down.
I would agree with that, and I mean, that seems to be the burning question, you know, what about the bridge? And I mean, we'll deal with it when it happens, if it happens. And, you know, for everybody in the room, I mean, AOT is great about notifying before they actually do something. It's not like they do it and then let us know, because we'll have to reroute traffic, or the state police will have to reroute traffic, or perhaps Chad or someone. But, you know, I mean, if we get word that that's going to be closed, you know, it'll immediately go out on Facebook, and we'll spread the word as quickly as possible. But let's keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully that doesn't have to happen. So,
In the event it does need to be shut down, you're gonna put barricades in front of it, how are you gonna handle that?
Yeah, we probably would, and plus we've got a message boards
board.
we'll put out, you know, one on top of the mountain someplace and one here, and just, you know, up down Bennington or whatever.
not trying to muddy this up, but I mean, how good are those message boards with 16, 80-mile-an-hour winds?
Well, we don't put them way up, we leave them down, and
Okay.
they stood up during Irene, so.
But we didn't have
Wind.
that amount of wind.
Okay, well, let's try it. I mean, hey, it's your property. Elsa?
Just got a couple things. The firehouse will be staffed throughout the duration of the event in our dispatch, so if anybody does have a call, they can call there. The other thing too is I got an email last night that says the Colchester Technical Rescue Team has been relocated to Manchester.
I did get that email from Vermont Emergency Management. I have not been able to verify that, Steve. My understanding is they were going to move their swiftwater rescue team to Manchester to be able to respond anywhere in Bennington and Rutland counties. But I have not been able to confirm that.
So we'll confirm that this morning and make sure that we can get it out to the other agencies.
Okay. Terry? No? Neil? Anything?
Just
Yeah.
listening.
Patrick? No? Aaron?
We have a dispatch from tomorrow dispatch, start at 10 o'clock. And I'll talk with you about that. I've got 4 full crews ready to go. I'm working with the hospital because this looks like we're going to empty out the hospital before this hits. Other than that, the only question I have is who's going to be the main go-to person or agency for road closures? So we have pretty good up-to-date list.
We, more than what will happen is RJ and AOT will notify dispatch here. We'll pump the information out of this room and we'll make sure, how do you want to do that? Or do you want an email form or you want us just to call? Because,
Figure something out.
okay. All right. Maybe afterwards, Steve and Joey and you and I and Lloyd can just meet very quickly and we'll figure that out. Okay? Norm?
How's that?
All set? Still gonna offer that equipment, right?
Whatever you need.
All right.
Or I'll take it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Deb?
Same thing, road closures, our VNA, they're really concerned about making sure they can get to the patients that they need to, so if they're gonna be closed down, we just have to make it as soon as possible.
RJ is really good about, working with us here at the police department, and one of our thoughts is that if we have, this map that's here, that will hopefully not, but if it is filled with push pins, that's where all the problems are gonna be, so that we can get the information out and reroute. But at the same time, as long as there's not power lines mixed in with it, RJ's crews will be more than happy here in Bennington anyway to get out in front and move things out of the way if they need to be moved. I know, like with Joey and Steve, and even in North Bennington, some of the fire equipment, there's winches and cables and all sorts of wonderful things that we can move trees out of the road. And heck, we're even going to put that new Humvee into action and see what that thing can do today. So we'll see.
So if we need something, just call them here.
They can call here, and then you may end up getting transferred into this room. We will answer your questions to the best of our ability. Jeffrey, all set?
Basically, my only question is who do you want with the residents to access and use for dispatch? Do you want them on the 1030 number for going to the sheriff's department, or do you want them to advise them to utilize the state troopers?
No, Woodford residents can feel free to call here. There's absolutely no problem with that. If there's an emergency, obviously they're going to call 911 so that VSP dispatch can notify us, the rural fire department, and rescue, pretty much all at the same time. But as you full well know, what generally happens is 911 notifies us and we send everybody at the same time, but then we've got record of it because, so that's how the calls go. Up to them to hear and out. If it's an emergency, if they are just looking for general information, I do not mind if they call here. Chad's probably dispatch till 4.
Yeah, only during the day. After that, if anyone wants to go on the bus, the Iowa State Police will guide them. Either will dispatch for us. So those will be out.
And our only other concern is what other people have been mentioning is basically the road closure, about Route 9 significantly. And I see it as basically we just have to wait and see.
Right.
Which is understandable. RJ, in response to your question as far as going over and around, touch base with me after the meeting because I think most of that property is actually private property, so National Forest will even have to worry about it.
And the other thing too, Ryan, is, and I'll say it again for everybody, 211 is, if you've got, problems or you need help with something that's not police or emergency related, 211 can help you out. They were wonderful during Irene, and they answer questions every day for people, so that's an option too. If it's Dan.
All set.
All set. I already asked Patrick once. Walt, how you doing? You're good to go?
I think so.
All right, you look good. How about my friends from the Red Cross?
We said we have a BPI for a shelter and possibly middle school. The trails up there with all the cots. We also have shelter supplies that have been pre-deployed to the local disaster shelter initiative in Wilmington, Glen Hall, Winfield, Jamaica, Bennington, and Wallington. Beginning, we have backup for our mobile kitchen truck. We have Southern Baptist Disaster Relief and several others here. Birds. Logistics. All our vehicles and backup is staged at different areas and go towards wherever we need. That's about it.
So, and I think it's important that Cheryl remind everybody that's going to be listening or watching on CAT TV and for the media to put out, if we are fortunate, because if you remember in 2007, Rutland got hit, Wilmington got hit, and we got nothing. And we can only hope and pray that that's actually what happens. In the event that those areas are hard hit and the Red Cross needs to move out of the area, that's what they're going to do. The Bennington Fire Department will hook that trailer and bring it where it needs to go, if it's not needed here. That's part of the deal, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows that we will help other affected communities by assisting the Red Cross.
We also have additional tax that was brought in. We have, how much? 193 cards.
Okay.
300 I'm waiting to
Perfect. And a Keurig machine. I saw that on the site. Larry, what do you got?
All set.
You're all set. Chris, do you have anything you want to add? Okay.
I got one. Chad, you're gonna have somebody dispatched through the night if we need the sheriffs to close down the road.
You call here.
Call here.
We'll get a hold of Chad.
Okay.
We'll take care of all that for you.
All right.
Okay?
We're trying to make it easy so there's one point of contact
Yep.
for the area. and-
Right.
Fine.
Yeah, Chad and I have already talked about that. He asked if we would be willing to field the calls. And if he has a duty officer on call, we'll call the duty officer. We'll take care of all that.
Okay.
Okay?
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
First, if we need to open a shelter, do you get a hold of Bruce directly and then?
I'm going to contact Cheryl, and Cheryl's going to get a hold of Bruce. And as you guys know, Bruce answers his phone. He's not one of those people, you know, so yeah, that won't be a problem. I don't think that'll be a problem. Okay? And just so everybody knows, we make the request to the Red Cross. We don't actually open the shelter. There's this fallacy out there. It was on Facebook yesterday that, you know, the town of Bennington should be opening up shelters. We make the request to the Red Cross. They open the shelters. They are ready. They're prepared. Everything's in place. You know, now we just wait and see what happens. So we are ready for that. Sharon.
Just a question for Ryan. Do you have the school set up as a temporary coach shelter gathering place for the residents?
That had been discussed in the past for a specific emergency management plan. That plan has not been put fully into place. Right now, there is not. We're going 100% with shelter where you're at. If absolutely necessary, there are some facilities that we can potentially open. But as it currently stands, the school is not.
I just heard that out there, and so I just wanted the media to know about that.
Yes.
You know, in speaking of that, I just want to emphasize that if you're looking for solid information, you know, or you know people that are looking for information that's accurate, have them call here or give them the information yourselves. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and it seems like the same people are involved this time as that were involved during Irene, you know, posting things on Facebook that aren't accurate. You know, the police department website and Facebook page will be 100% accurate. The town of Manchester's got a Facebook page going as well. Their information is solid. I've been reviewing their information. You know, just go, people need to get information where they know it's going to be accurate. Don't listen to people that are out there, you know, creating fallacies and we want everybody to get the right information.
And following on that, I was gonna mention that even one-line updates, we're gonna be watching the Facebook page. It works great so that it's vetted information because, as you said, Facebook.
We have the ability to, we're all set up with our mobile data terminals here in case the hardline internet goes down.
Okay.
And if all that fails, we will do it through smartphone. We are ready to go with up-to-date and accurate information on a continuous basis.
And we
Even
will,
one line works good.
and we will verify before we put out. If somebody calls and, for example, and says the Silk Road Bridge just got smoked by a tree and it's going down the river, we'll verify.
And we can pass that on to our listeners, yes?
Yeah, perfect. Okay, because we know at the end of this week, the scanners won't work anymore, don't we, Steve? So, okay, any other questions? All right, 28 minutes, you did a good job. All right, listen, safety is paramount. Please make sure that you and your people are safe. This is going to be a long duration. We're prepared. We want everybody to be safe, and if you need assistance, certainly 911, 211, call here. Ryan, the officer, is there. You asked a question, I'm telling you, you can call the Sheriff's Department during the day. State police are available for people that live in the state police area that need assistance. According to Governor Shumlin, the state is ready, and I think this community and the surrounding area is ready. And I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Good luck. Thanks for coming.